and getting these bass and get what am I trying to say?
Bass.
Yes. Getting these bass up to size. Be sure to leave those tips for us down in the comments, man. We're always open to suggestion. And all right, exciting day. Our local feed store has the fish truck coming today. Here they come. Arkansas pond stockers. What do you think?
I get ready.
You think it's gonna work? You think we'll make our bass bigger? He said they'll take our orders over here at the passenger door.
Oh, okay.
Hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peaks Peak. Today, me and Caden are at the fish truck because we're gonna get some minnows to stock our pond.
How far are you going?
Not very far at all, 15 minutes. They are getting us all set up. Every time I've done this, it's kind of worked the same way. The truck pulls in, everybody lines up at the passenger door and they take your order and they get you all set up. They'll put them in bags for you and pump some oxygen in there. He just asked me how far we were going. That way they know, kind of how to set them up.
There's so much of them.
Yeah. See that? There you go, bud. He might come around.
Oh,
Yep.
he's
See, I
alive.
told you. Well, you've done it now. He better not get my belly button's all I got to say. Hang on to him, take care of him. We'll take him home, put him in the pond.
Hey, buddy.
Good deal, appreciate you, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
That ought to be good, huh?
He's flinging stuff everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a bunch of feed to unload, but we want to acclimate the fish to the pond first. So we're going to take them up there and set them in the water and give them some time to acclimate. We'll get them turned loose, then we'll come back down and deal with the feed. All right. Oh, you got your one crawdad there. I wish we could have gotten more crawdads, man. The bass would have loved that. All right, up to the pond we go. Let's stock some fish. Woohoo! All right, we got to take her slow. We don't want to shake our fish up.
Buddy, close your eyes.
Copyright. All right. Do you want to get the crawdad
And I get a fish bag.
and a bag of fish?
Since he's my crow.
Don't take the rubber band off yet, because we got to take them and set them in a shallow spot. We set them in a shallow spot and let the water temperature in the bag kind of match up to the water temperature of the pond before we turn them loose. So we'll probably set them in there and then we'll hang out for 10 or 15 minutes and then we'll dump them out, okay?
Oh, this is fun.
Come on over here. We've got our bags sitting in the water acclimating right now, and once they've had, I don't know, 15 minutes or so for the water temperatures to kind of even out, then we will turn them loose. We decided to turn them loose on that end down there because there are a lot fewer fish hang out on that end. So I figured that'll hopefully give them a chance to orient themselves when we dump them out of the bag, figure out what's going on before they get blitzed by other fish. They're there to eat, but what I would like is for them to survive long enough that they can spawn and reproduce. And that's kind of the whole point, is to get a population in there big enough that they're spawning and reproducing. Minnows reproduce every, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days or something like that, very often. So they can keep the population of minnows up, and that will give a steady supply of minnows to the bass. Hopefully we can get these bass to get some size on them. He just about got a little bite there. Of course, the whole purpose of this is because we've been feeding the fish and catching some fish, and in our unscientific sampling of our pond to check the health of it, we were able to catch catfish that were, going on 2 pounds. We've seen some nice sized catfish in here. Our bluegill, we've got some size of your hand. So both of those populations are very healthy. We saw very few minnows this spring. We'd walk up on the shallows and might see a few, but we've not seen any schools of minnows, and we're just not seeing a whole lot of minnow activity. And our bass are, they're 2 years old now, and they're like under a pound, maybe a pound, 12 inches long. So they're missing something. We've decided that We want to try to get the minnow population up. And at this point, I'm also looking at the pond and seeing the level of clarity that we have. And it's definitely over 18 inches. So we may need to consider fertilizing. That's something I'll need to read some more about before I get into that. Man, it is a beautiful spring day. Hey, Caden, I've got an idea.
What?
I'm thinking we go ahead and turn the crawdad loose over here where we can watch him really closely and see him swim away. And that way we can take your bowl and we can use it to throw out fish food over here and get all these fish eaten and fed before we turn the minnows loose. Maybe that'll cut down on how many get eaten.
He's not swimming.
No, he's not. He's just crawling around. He's probably trying to figure out what to room. All right, do you think you can fling that all out there real far? All right. Look at all these bluegill.
Sheesh.
Who's that?
Kendall.
Kendall?
Gray.
You're not a fan. This is really one of those things that I love about having a pond, is getting to watch the fish. It's kind of like having a big fish tank, but you know, a whole lot bigger, a whole lot more potential for some bigger, cooler fish. All right, so our fish have had about 15 minutes to acclimate, and it's only been about 30, 40 minutes since we got them out of the truck. So should have a pretty healthy batch of minnows to turn loose here. Caden, you ready to turn yours loose? Yeah, buddy. All right, you wanna just dump your bag out, or? Look at that.
Okay, I want the rest of the minnows.
Get the camera on. All right, overall, we've got a lot of minnows turned loose here. Now, I will tell you, last fish truck that we visited was over an hour away from the house. So it was about 2 hours before we turned those fish loose in the pond. And we lost far fewer minnows in that switch than what we've lost in this one. As you can see, there are quite a few struggling minnows in this batch, and I don't know what caused that, but I know that we were less than 40 minutes getting them in the water. We acclimated them just like you're supposed to. All right, I don't see any bass just attacking them yet, so hopefully they'll last a few days. I always like to be able to look into the pond and see fish swimming around and all that. So it's cool that the water is clear enough this time. When we put these in, we can see them all swim away and all that. It's a pretty neat experience. And I think now we've got enough rocks and all that kind of stuff in here to give them good cover where they can hide and stay away from the predators a little bit, and hopefully reproduce, get this pond filled up with minnows. That way our bass can start growing. So we'll keep you posted on how that's going, but I think this ought to make a big difference. I'm pretty certain those bluegill are trolling around trying to attack those minnows. It's been a while since I've seen them up patrolling the banks like that. Well, man, what'd you notice about the grass that we planted the other day?
It's growing.
Yeah, it's growing good, isn't it? Did you know you did that?
Me, no. I didn't.
I mean, you did.
I did some of it.
Yeah, you did a lot of it.
Double hatted.
I don't need a double hat. You wear your Kendall Gray.
Oh.
Well, what'd you think about stocking the pond with the minnows?
Bussin'.
What was your favorite part?
Except it's not food. Letting the crawdad loose.
The crawdad, yeah, the crawdad was pretty cool. Well, hopefully 6 months or so, we'll see a difference in the size of our bass, you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, if you guys got any other tips for us in our pond and getting these bass and get what am I trying to say?
Bass.
Yes. Getting these bass up to size. Be sure to leave those tips for us down in the comments, man. We're always open to suggestion, and we will do what we can afford to do. And man, love having this pond. And me and Caden are starting the preparations on our cabin.
And you can't say the word bass.
Bass.
A bash.
Largemouth bass.
Bash.
Bass.
Bass. Yeah.
I'm all about that bass. No bluegill.
Dun.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good day.